Okay, so get ready to dive deep into something that's kind of freaky, but super important. Everyday toxins. The sneaky stuff hiding in plain sight. Yeah, we're talking about those products we use without even thinking twice. Today we're dissecting an interview with the toxicologist, Dr. Yvonne Burkart, and let me tell you, she doesn't hold back on what we're all exposed to. It's like a health mystery novel, but instead of figuring out who's doing it, we're trying to figure out what's in it.
It is wild how many things we use daily that have, potentially harmful stuff in them.
Right.
Like we're constantly bombarded with marketing telling us all about convenience and how well things work. But do we ever really stop and think about what it might be doing to us in the long run?
That's what makes Dr. Burkart's story so interesting. I mean, she's a trained toxicologist, but even she was caught off guard. Picture this. At 32, she's told IVF is her only option if she wants to have a baby.
It really hits home that even experts, right, can be totally unaware of the hidden dangers, just lurking in our everyday stuff.
Totally. It's not like she was living in some toxic waste dump or anything. She was just living a normal life using normal everyday products. But here's the twist. She did a ton of research and realized her health issues were actually linked to these tiny doses of toxins she was getting from those seemingly harmless products. And get this, she swapped those products out for healthier alternatives, and guess what? She got pregnant naturally.
Her story is such a powerful example, right?
Right.
It shows how much our bodies are interacting with our environment all the time. And even those small exposures of toxins, they can really add up over time.
It's kind of like that saying, death by 1,000 cuts, but in this case, it's more like health problems by 1,000 toxins.
Ooh, that's a good one. And Dr. Burkart is very clear that this isn't about just a few isolated products. This is like a widespread issue. She says almost everything contains at least one toxic chemical, especially when you think about all the plastics and fragrances we're surrounded by.
It makes you want to live in a bubble, doesn't it? But seriously, it is pretty shocking, especially when you consider that kids are way more vulnerable to these toxins.
Exactly, because their little bodies are still developing. And their detox systems, well, they aren't fully mature until they're like 10 years old. So for a whole decade, they're basically like sponges soaking up all those chemicals.
Wow. I never really thought about how much longer it takes for their systems to fully develop. So out of all these toxins, which ones are the worst offenders?
Well, let's start with endocrine disruptors. These are like tiny little gremlins that mess with your hormones. Dr. Burkart actually has a pretty intense comparison. She says they're like pouring gasoline on a dumpster fire, but inside your body.
Okay, that's a pretty vivid image. But what does that mean for our health, really?
Well, when your hormones are out of whack, it can show up in all sorts of ways. Think about infertility or weight gain, even early puberty or other developmental issues.
And here's what's even crazier. Dr. Burkart says that small doses of these endocrine disruptors, they can actually be worse for you than large doses. It's not just about avoiding one big exposure. It's about minimizing our exposure day after day.
Exactly. It goes against that old toxicology saying, the dose makes the poison. Endocrine disruptors, they don't play by those rules.
Okay, so we got to be mindful of those endocrine disruptors. What about those microplastics we hear about all the time? Are they really that bad?
Oh, yeah. And it's not just that they're everywhere in our water, food, even the air we breathe. It's what they do once they get inside us.
Get this, a study found microplastics in human brains at levels 10 to 20 times higher than in other organs.
Yeah, that's not good. And here's why it matters. Microplastics are like tiny little thieves stealing away your body's natural defenses. They cause inflammation and something called oxidative stress, which basically means they're using up all your antioxidants, like this super important one called glutathione.
Wait, hold on. Glutathione, what is that? Some fancy health supplement?
Not exactly. Glutathione is something your body makes naturally, and it's crucial for fighting off those toxins. We'll talk more about it later, but for now, think of it as your own personal detox squad. And microplastics. They're like kryptonite to that squad.
So microplastics weaken our defenses. Got it. Let's get down to brass tacks now. Dr. Burkart goes through a bunch of everyday products and points out the hidden dangers. Plus, she gives us some simple swaps we can make.
Let's start with something almost everyone uses. Deodorant.
All right, I'm listening. I definitely don't want to be unknowingly exposing myself to toxins every morning.
So a lot of aerosol deodorants use propellants, and those can actually contaminate the product with benzene. Benzene is a carcinogen. And then there's the aluminum salts in a lot of deodorants. There's some concern about a possible link to breast cancer.
Yeah, no thanks. What's a good alternative then?
Dr. Burkart suggests switching to a roll-on deodorant that uses essential oils for fragrance instead. It's a small change, but it can really make a difference.
Got it. Roll-on deodorant. Check. What else is on the list?
Okay, let's talk about non-stick cookware. It's convenient, sure, but it often has PTFE, also known as Teflon, and PFOA.
Teflon. Isn't there something called Teflon flu?
Yep, it's a real thing. People have actually gotten sick, like flu-like symptoms, after being exposed to fumes from overheated Teflon. And then, beyond those immediate effects, there are also worries about possible links to cancer and thyroid problems.
Scary to think something we use to cook our food could actually be putting our health at risk.
I know, right? That's why Dr. Burkart recommends ditching the nonstick stuff and going for safer options like stainless steel or cast iron. They might take a little more effort to clean, but it's a lot healthier in the long run.
So nonstick is out. How about those plastic utensils we use all the time?
Well, we were just talking about microplastics leaching from plastic, and utensils are a perfect example.
Yeah.
Think about it. They're constantly touching our food, especially when we're stirring hot dishes.
Never even thought about that.
Easy to miss, right? But switching to wooden or metal utensils is a really easy way to reduce your exposure.
Wooden spoons. Here I come. Now, what about those plastic food containers everyone uses for leftovers and lunches?
Yeah, those are handy. But they are another source of microplastics. And here's a big one. Never microwave plastic, even if it says BPA-free.
Wait, seriously? Even if it says BPA-free on the label?
Yeah, even then. There are other chemicals in plastic that can seep into your food when it's heated. And those chemicals can mess with your hormones and potentially cause other problems.
So what's the best way to store and reheat food?
Glass containers are the safest bet. They don't leach chemicals, and they're easy to clean.
I'm sensing a theme here. Ditch the plastic. Okay, what about those disposable coffee cups you get on the way to work?
Those are a bit tricky. They often have a plastic lining that can release microplastics into your drink, especially when it's hot.
So even my morning coffee isn't safe.
Not really. But the good news is bringing your own reusable cup is an easy fix.
Okay, that's one change I can definitely make. Reusable coffee cup is going on the shopping list. Let's switch gears and talk about something really important for women's health tampons and those kinds of products.
This is a big one where a lot of women are unknowingly exposing themselves to a whole bunch of chemicals. Conventional tampons and pads can contain pesticides, heavy metals, and phthalates, all things you don't really want in your body.
Seriously, you'd think those products would be held to a higher standard.
You'd think, right, but unfortunately that's not always the case.
What are some better options then?
Choosing organic cotton tampons or even switching to reusable options like menstrual cups can make a big difference in reducing your exposure to those harmful chemicals.
I'll definitely have to look into those alternatives. All right, on to something I never even considered. The clothes we wear. I had no idea our clothing could be a source of toxins.
It's not something most people think about. But a lot of clothes, especially those made from synthetic fibers, like polyester, nylon, and acrylic, they release microplastics and can even have BPA in them. Remember, that's that endocrine disruptor we talked about earlier.
So all those cheap, trendy clothes might not be so great for us or the planet after all.
Yep, you got it. Choosing organic cotton clothing is a much healthier choice. It might cost a bit more, but think of it as an investment in your health and the planet's health too.
Looks like I need a wardrobe makeover. Okay, how about scented laundry detergents and fabric softeners? I love that fresh laundry smell, but now I'm wondering if it's worth the risk.
Good instinct. Those scented laundry products are usually packed with a mix of chemicals that can have those hidden fragrance risks. And remember, fragrances are one of the biggest sources of those sneaky endocrine disruptors in our homes.
So what's a safer way to get that fresh laundry smell?
Switching to an unscented laundry detergent and using wool dryer balls with a few drops of essential oils is a much healthier, more natural way to go.
Sounds good. I'm ditching the fabric softener for sure. Now let's talk about something we all need. Water. You mentioned that we should be filtering our tap water, especially if it's fluoridated.
Absolutely. Filtering your water is one of the most important things you could do to protect your health and reduce your exposure to all kinds of nasty stuff.
But isn't our tap water already treated? Why do we need to filter it on top of that?
Well, those water treatment plants do a good job of removing a lot of things, but they don't catch everything. Depending on where you live, your tap water could still have choices of hormones, pesticides, heavy metals, fluoride, and all kinds of stuff from agricultural runoff.
That's a lot to worry about. What kind of filter should I be using then?
That depends on what's actually in your water. A good place to start is to check the EWG Water Report database. They have info on water quality for different areas.
So I should do some research to figure out the best filter for my needs.
Exactly. It's worth the effort to figure out what's in your water and choose a filter that will take care of those specific things.
Okay, that's a lot to process. Dr. Burkart's story is a good reminder that even those tiny exposures to everyday toxins, they can really build up over time and impact our health.
That's why it's so important to be proactive. Making even small changes can make a huge difference for your long-term health.
So for those feeling a bit overwhelmed right now, what are some easy, affordable changes they can make right away to start reducing their exposure to all these hidden dangers?
Filtering your water is a big one. And ditching those fragrance-filled products. Cooking at home more, using safer cookware. Choosing whole foods over processed stuff. Swapping out your personal care products for safer options. And just generally trying to improve your indoor air quality. All of these are great places to start.
And don't forget to check out the show notes. We'll have links to all those specific product recommendations from Dr. Burkart. We got you covered.
We'll delve deeper into some of those resources and much more right after the break. Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about how important it is to filter your water. And it's not just about, getting rid of dirt and that kind of stuff. It's about those hidden things you can't even see that can really mess with your health.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, all that stuff that could be lurking in our water, even if it looks and tastes totally normal.
Right. And it's not just about what you feel right away either. Some of these things can build up in your body over time and cause those chronic issues down the road.
That's scary. So what can we actually do to make sure our water is as clean and safe as possible?
Well, like we mentioned before, checking that EWG water report database is a great starting point. It'll give you a personalized look at what's in your water and let you know about anything specific to your area that you should be concerned about.
That's a great resource. So once we have that info, how do we choose the right kind of filter? It seems like there are so many options out there.
Yeah, there are a lot. And it can be a bit overwhelming to figure out. But the good news is you don't need to be a water filter expert to make a good choice.
That's a relief. So how do we get started?
Well, think about what you're most worried about. If it's just stuff like chlorine, sediment, maybe getting rid of a bad taste, a simple pitcher filter or a faucet filter might do the trick.
Yeah, those are definitely the most budget-friendly options and super easy to use.
Exactly. But if you're dealing with bigger problems like heavy metals, pesticides, or even pharmaceuticals in your water, you'll want to look into something a bit stronger, like a whole house filter or a reverse osmosis system.
Those sound a bit more complicated. Can you break it down for us a little? How do they work?
Sure. So a whole house filter, as you might guess, filters all the water that comes into your house. It usually goes on your main water line, so you don't have to worry about filtering the water at every single tap.
That's convenient.
Totally. And they can be really good at removing a wide range of those contaminants. Now, reverse osmosis systems, they're a bit different. They use this special membrane that filters out stuff at a molecular level.
Wow, that sounds pretty high-tech.
Yeah. And it's one of the best ways to get rid of lots of different impurities, like heavy metals, bacteria, viruses, pretty much everything.
So reverse osmosis, is that like the gold standard of water filters?
Pretty much. But, there are a couple of downsides. They can be a bit pricey compared to other options, and they tend to waste more water.
Okay, good to know. So it's all about weighing those pros and cons and figuring out what works best for you and your budget.
Exactly. And remember, any kind of filtration is better than none.
That's good to hear. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Dr. Burkart also talked about air quality, specifically the air inside our homes.
Yeah. We tend to focus on the toxins in our food and water, but we forget about the air we breathe. That can be a big source of exposure, too.
True. We're spending so much time indoors these days, our homes, our offices. So what are some of those common indoor air pollutants that we should be thinking about?
Well, things like dust mites, pet dander, mold, and these things called VOCs are all pretty common culprits.
VOCs, yeah. Remind me, where do those come from again?
VOCs, those are released from all sorts of stuff. Paint, furniture, cleaning products, even some building materials. And they can irritate your lungs, give you headaches, and even lead to more serious issues over time.
So basically, our homes could be filled with these invisible toxins that we're breathing in every day without even realizing it.
Kind of a scary thought, right? But good news is there are easy things we can do to improve the air quality in our homes.
I'm all for easy. Tell me more.
One of the simplest things is to open your windows. Just get some fresh air circulating in there.
Ah, so simple, yet so effective.
Right. And, you could also get some houseplants. They act like natural air purifiers. They absorb toxins and release oxygen.
I love that. Not only are they cleaning the air, but they also look beautiful.
It's a win-win. And another easy thing is to switch to natural cleaning products instead of those harsh chemical ones.
Yeah, switching to natural cleaning products is something I've been meaning to do for a while. What are some good ones to try?
There are so many great brands out there now. You can find everything, all-purpose cleaners, dish soap, laundry detergent, all made with plant-based stuff and essential oils.
Okay, natural cleaning products. Check. Any other tips for improving air quality?
If you're really serious about it, you might want to think about getting an air purifier. They can be really helpful, especially if you have allergies or asthma, or if you live in an area with a lot of air pollution.
Okay, air purifiers, noted. This is all great info, but I gotta be honest, it can be a bit overwhelming to think about all the places we're exposed to these toxins. It's like, are we fighting a losing battle here?
I know what you mean. It can be a bit daunting, for sure. But remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Just start with 1 or 2 changes, then gradually add more as you feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every little bit you do makes a difference.
Okay, let's switch gears again and talk about something a bit more empowering. Remember how we talked about glutathione earlier? How it's like our body's own personal detox squad?
Right. Glutathione, it's a powerful antioxidant that's super important for protecting us from those toxins we've been talking about.
So how can we make sure those detox squads are in top shape, ready to fight those toxins?
Now, there are a few things you can do.
I'm listening.
One of the simplest and best ways to increase your glutathione levels is to exercise.
Oh, music to my ears. I love to work out.
Awesome. When you exercise, your body naturally produces more glutathione, and that makes you more resilient to those toxins.
So hitting the gym or even just going for a walk, that can help our bodies detoxify more effectively.
Exactly. It's like giving your detox squad a super boost.
I love that. Okay, how about food? Are there certain things we can eat to boost our glutathione levels?
You bet. Eating foods rich in sulfur is super important. Sulfur is actually a key component of glutathione, so make sure you're getting enough.
What are some good sources of those sulfur-rich foods?
Leafy greens, things like broccoli, kale, spinach, those are all excellent sources.
I love those.
You're on the right track. And then there are those cruciferous veggies like cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. Those are packed with sulfur too.
Awesome, got to stock up on those. Any other tips for getting more of those glutathione-boosting foods?
Yeah, garlic and onions, they're great sources of sulfur and they add so much flavor to your food.
Love garlic and onions. What about other foods that can help?
Eggs are another good one. Full of sulfur, protein, and tons of other good stuff. And you know what? Consider drinking matcha instead of some of those other sugary drinks.
Matcha.
Yeah.
Love it. It's so good to know it's actually good for me.
Yeah, it's full of antioxidants, and it's been shown to help with glutathione production.
Okay, let's talk about another key player in overall health and detox. Sleep. I know I definitely don't function well when I'm sleep deprived.
Oh yeah, sleep is super important. Your body needs it to repair and regenerate, and that includes producing glutathione. When you don't get enough sleep, your body's natural detox processes slow down.
So getting enough sleep is kind of like hitting the reset button for our bodies, helping them get rid of those toxins.
Exactly. Try to get 7 to 9 hours of good sleep every night. It gives your body the time it needs to recharge and produce those essential antioxidants like glutathione.
All right, I'm making a deal with myself to prioritize sleep. What are some tips for better sleep quality? I know a lot of people struggle with that.
Creating a relaxing bedtime routine can make a big difference. Try dimming the lights a couple of hours before bed, take a warm bath, maybe read a book, listen to some calming music.
Those all sound lovely.
Yeah, and make sure your bedroom is cool, dark, and quiet. Try to avoid watching TV or scrolling through your phone right before bed. That blue light from those devices can actually mess with your sleep.
So basically, create a sleep sanctuary for yourself. Okay, let's talk more about those toxins. We covered a lot, but I think it's worth going back to some of the main areas where we're unknowingly exposing ourselves to those harmful chemicals. Let's start with personal care products.
Yeah, that's a big one. Many people are surprised to learn about the toxins hiding in those everyday products. We think of personal care products as things that are supposed to make us feel good and look good, but that's not always the truth.
It's true. We use these products every day without really thinking about what's in them.
And that's where the problem is. So many conventional personal care products are full of chemicals that can mess with our hormones, irritate our skin, and even contribute to some pretty serious health problems over time.
So what should we be looking out for? What are some of those sneaky ingredients we need to watch out for?
Fragrances are a big one. You find them in almost everything. shampoo, conditioner, lotion, makeup, you name it.
But fragrances are supposed to make us smell good, right? What's wrong with them?
The problem is that the word fragrance can actually be a cover for a whole bunch of different chemicals.
Yeah.
And companies don't have to tell you exactly what those chemicals are.
So basically, fragrance is like a secret code for a bunch of mystery ingredients.
Pretty much. And a lot of those hidden ingredients are known to be endocrine disruptors. Remember those?
Yeah.
The ones that can mess with our hormones and cause all sorts of health problems.
Okay, I am officially avoiding anything with fragrance on the label from now on. What else should we avoid in our personal care products?
Parabens are another one to watch out for. They're used as preservatives in tons of products, but they've been linked to hormone disruption and even breast cancer.
Yikes. That's definitely something I don't want anywhere near my body. So what are some good alternatives?
Look for products that specifically say they're paraben-free and also fragrance-free, like we talked about.
Seems easy enough. Any other red flags we should be looking for on those labels?
Phthalates, another group of chemicals to be careful of. You often find them in things like nail polish, hairspray, and other scented products.
Yeah, I've heard that phthalates can actually mimic hormones in your body. Sounds pretty freaky.
It can be. They disrupt our endocrine systems and can lead to all sorts of problems.
So we really need to become expert label readers when it comes to those personal care products.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to get a little nerdy and do your research.
Yeah.
Actually, the Environmental Working Group, they have a great website and app called Skin Deep that rates the safety of personal care products based on their ingredients. Super helpful.
Okay, the EWG's Skin Deep app, that's going straight on my phone, thanks to the tip. Now let's move from the bathroom to the rest of our homes. What about those toxins lurking in our living spaces?
Our homes are supposed to be our safe havens, right? But the truth is, they can also be sources of exposure to toxins, which can really impact our health.
It's hard to believe that our homes could actually be putting our health at risk. Where do we even begin to look for these hidden toxins, and how do we minimize our exposure?
Well, a good place to start is with your cleaning products. A lot of those conventional cleaning products are packed with harsh chemicals that can irritate your skin, your lungs, your eyes, all that good stuff.
I've definitely experienced that burning sensation in my nose when I've used certain cleaning products. I guess that's my body's way of saying, hey, this stuff is not good for me.
You got it. Your body's giving you a clear warning signal there.
So what are some safer alternatives to those harsh cleaning products? What should we be looking for when we're shopping for cleaning supplies?
Switching to natural cleaning products is a great first step. These days, there are so many options available that are made with plant-based ingredients and essential oils instead of those harsh chemicals. And they work just as well.
Amazing. So natural cleaning products are a must-have for a healthy home. What about air fresheners? I love having a nice smelling home, but now I'm thinking those artificial fragrances might not be worth the risk.
You're smart to be cautious about those. Air fresheners often contain phthalates, VOCs, and other not-so-great chemicals that can pollute the air inside our homes.
So how can we keep our homes smelling fresh without compromising our health?
There are so many natural alternatives to try. Instead of relying on those chemical air fresheners, try some simple things like opening your windows to let in the fresh air, diffusing essential oils. You can even simmer a pot of water on the stove with some citrus peels and spices to create a lovely natural scent. Or look for natural air fresheners that are made with essential oils and other plant-based ingredients.
I love those ideas. They sound so much healthier and more inviting than those artificial scents. What about furniture and carpets? I've heard that those can also release toxins into the air. Is that something we should be concerned about?
Definitely. A lot of furniture and carpets are treated with flame retardants, and those can actually be harmful to our health. They could leach into the air and dust in our homes, and eventually they can end up in our bodies.
So what should we look for when we're choosing furniture and carpets? Are there safer options available?
Whenever possible, choose furniture and carpets that are made with natural materials like wood, wool, and cotton. And look for pieces that are labeled as flame retardant free or compliant with TB 117/2013. That means they meet certain safety standards.
Okay, I'm making a mental note of that. What about paint? I know that some paints can release those harmful fumes too, especially when they're fresh. Is that true?
Yep. A lot of those conventional paints contain VOCs, which can irritate your lungs and cause other health problems. And those fumes can stick around in the air long after the paint has dried, so it's important to choose low VOC or zero VOC paints whenever possible. They're a much healthier option for both you and the environment.
This is all such great information, but it can feel a bit overwhelming to think about all the different areas of our lives where we're being exposed to these toxins. It's easy to feel like we're fighting a losing battle sometimes.
I hear you. It can be a bit daunting to wrap your head around all of this, but remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Start with 1 or 2 small changes, and then gradually add more as you feel comfortable and as you become more aware.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. Every little step you take is a step in the right direction. Now let's shift gears and talk about something a bit more empowering. Remember that glutathione we talked about earlier, that amazing antioxidant that acts like our body's own personal detox squad?
Yes, glutathione. It's such a fascinating and powerful molecule. Can you remind us why it's so important and how it helps protect us from those everyday toxins?
Of course. Glutathione is a super powerful antioxidant, which basically means it helps to neutralize those harmful free radicals that can damage our cells and lead to all sorts of health issues. It's a vital part of our body's natural detox system, helping to filter and eliminate those toxins we're constantly exposed to.
So how can we make sure those glutathione detox squads are in tip-top shape and ready to fight those toxins?
There are a lot of things we can do.
Tell me everything. I'm ready to boost my glutathione levels.
One of the most effective and fun ways to do that is through regular exercise. When you move your body, you actually increase your glutathione production, which makes you more resistant to those environmental toxins we've been talking about.
I love hearing that. So hitting the gym or even going for a brisk walk can actually help our bodies detoxify more effectively.
You got it. It's like giving those little detox squads a power boost.
I love that analogy. Now, how about our diet? Are there certain foods we can eat to boost those glutathione levels even more?
Absolutely. Eating a diet rich in sulfur-containing foods is key. Sulfur is a crucial component of glutathione, so make sure you're getting plenty of it.
What are some good sources of those sulfur-rich foods? What should we be adding to our grocery lists?
Leafy greens are fantastic. Broccoli, kale, spinach, all excellent choices.
Love my greens.
Good. And then there are those cruciferous veggies, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. Those are packed with sulfur too.
Okay, cruciferous veggies are going on the shopping list this week for sure. What are some other ways to get those glutathione-boosting foods into our diets?
Garlic and onions are great too. They're full of flavor, and they add a healthy dose of sulfur to your meals.
I love cooking with garlic and onions, so that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Are there any other foods that can help?
Eggs are another great option. They're packed with sulfur, plus they give you a good dose of protein and other essential nutrients. And here's another swap that's both delicious and beneficial. Consider choosing matcha green tea instead of some of those other sugary drinks.
Matcha is one of my favorite drinks, so this is great news.
It's a win-win. Matcha is loaded with antioxidants, and it's been shown to actually enhance glutathione production.
Okay, now let's talk about another essential ingredient for overall health and well-being: sleep. We touched on it briefly before, but I think it deserves a deeper dive.
You're so right. Sleep is often overlooked when we talk about health, but it's truly one of the most important things you can do for your body.
I know for sure I don't function well when I'm sleep deprived.
It's not just about feeling tired and groggy either. When you're sleep deprived, your body's natural detoxification processes, they just don't work as well.
So getting enough sleep is absolutely essential for helping our bodies eliminate those toxins that we're bombarded with every day.
Absolutely. Make it a goal to get 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep every single night. It's like hitting the reset button for your body, giving it time to repair, rejuvenate, and produce those essential antioxidants, including glutathione.
Okay, I am committing to prioritize sleep from now on. Any tips for getting better sleep? I know a lot of people struggle with that.
Creating a relaxing bedtime routine can make a huge difference. Try dimming the lights in your home an hour or two before bed, taking a warm bath, reading a book, listening to calming music, anything that signals to your body that it's time to wind down.
Those all sound so relaxing.
Right. And make sure your bedroom is cool, dark, and quiet. Invest in some blackout curtains if you need to. Maybe try a white noise machine or earplugs to minimize any noise distractions. And really try to avoid watching TV or scrolling on your phone right before bed. That blue light can mess with your sleep.
So it's all about creating a sleep sanctuary, a peaceful place where you can truly rest and recharge.
Exactly. Now, remember how we talked about all those sneaky everyday products and habits that can actually deplete those important glutathione levels?
Yes, those plastic spatulas, those convenient but potentially harmful plastic food containers, and so much more.
Well, there are a few other big ones we should talk about. Alcohol and cigarettes, those are two of the worst offenders. They really deplete your glutathione levels and make you much more vulnerable to the damaging effects of those toxins.
It's a good reminder that we have so much power to make choices that support our health rather than work against it.
You got it. It's about taking a holistic approach to health and well-being, choosing things that support our long-term health and vitality. It's about knowing the risks around us and taking action to protect ourselves and our loved ones.
Well said. This has been such an eye-opening conversation, expert speaker. Thank you so much for sharing all this valuable information with us. I know our listeners are feeling empowered to make some positive changes in their lives.
It's been my pleasure. Remember, knowledge is power. And by understanding those hidden dangers lurking in our everyday products and habits, we can make informed choices to protect our health.
And to all our listeners out there, we encourage you to keep learning about this. Be sure to check out those extra resources we've included in the show notes. We've got tons of helpful information to support you in making healthier choices.
Absolutely. We're here to support you on your journey to a healthier, less toxic life. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference. We're all in this together.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay healthy.
And keep on diving deep. Those personal care products, we think they're supposed to make us feel good and look good, but a lot of those conventional products are actually full of chemicals that, well, they can disrupt our hormones, irritate our skin, and even lead to more serious health problems in the long run.
It's true, we use these products every day without really thinking about what's in them.
And that's the problem.
So what are some of the things we should be looking out for? What are those sneaky ingredients we need to be aware of when we're checking those labels?
Fragrances are a big one. I mean, they're everywhere. Shampoos, conditioners, lotions, makeup, you name it.
But fragrances are supposed to make things smell good. What's wrong with them?
The problem is that when you see fragrance on a label, it could actually be a whole bunch of different chemicals all mixed together.
Yeah.
And the companies don't have to tell you exactly what those chemicals are.
So fragrance is kind of like a secret code for a bunch of mystery ingredients?
Pretty much, yeah. And a lot of those mystery ingredients are actually known to be endocrine disruptors. Remember those. The ones that can mess with our hormones and cause all sorts of health problems.
Okay, I am officially avoiding anything with fragrance on the label from now on. So besides fragrances, what else should we try to avoid in our personal care products?
Parabens are another one to watch out for. They're used as preservatives in a lot of products, but studies have linked them to hormone disruption and even breast cancer.
Oh, wow. That's definitely not something I want to be putting on my body. So what are some safer alternatives then?
Look for products that specifically state that they're paraben-free and also fragrance-free, like we just talked about.
Seems simple enough. Any other red flags to look out for on those labels?
Phthalates are another group of chemicals that you want to avoid. They're often found in things like nail polish, hairspray, and other scented products.
Right, I've heard about phthalates. They can actually mimic hormones in your body, right? Sounds pretty scary.
Yeah, it can be. They mess with our endocrine systems and can contribute to a bunch of different problems.
So becoming an expert label reader is key when it comes to those personal care products.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to get nerdy and do your research. Actually, the Environmental Working Group, or EWG, they have this great website and an app called Skin Deep. It rates the safety of personal care products based on their ingredients. Super helpful.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, the EWG Skin Deep app is going straight on my phone. Thanks for that tip. So let's move from the bathroom to the rest of our living spaces. What about those toxins that might be hiding in our homes?
Our homes are supposed to be our safe havens, but unfortunately they can be sources of exposure to toxins, which can really impact our health.
It's kind of unsettling to think that our own homes could be putting our health at risk. So where do we even begin when it comes to identifying and minimizing those potential toxins in our homes?
Well, a good place to start is those cleaning products. A lot of conventional cleaning products are full of really harsh chemicals that can irritate your skin, your lungs, your eyes.
I've definitely experienced that burning sensation in my nose when I've used certain cleaning products. It's like my body's way of saying, hey, this is not good for me.
Exactly. That's your body giving you a clear warning signal.
So what are some safer alternatives? What should we be looking for when we're shopping for cleaning supplies?
Switching to natural cleaning products is a fantastic first step. You can find so many great options these days that are made with plant-based ingredients and essential oils instead of those harsh chemicals. And the best part is they work just as well.
Wow, that's amazing. So natural cleaning products are a must for a healthy home. What about air fresheners? I love having a nice smelling home, but I'm realizing that maybe those artificial fragrances aren't worth the risk.
You're smart to be thinking about that.
Mm.
Air fresheners, they often contain phthalates, VOCs, and all those other harmful chemicals. They can really pollute the air inside our homes.
So how can we keep our homes smelling fresh without putting our health at risk?
There are tons of great natural alternatives you can try. Instead of using those chemical air fresheners, open your windows and let in some fresh air. Diffuse some essential oils. Or even just simmer a pot of water on the stove with some citrus peels and spices. Creates a really lovely natural scent. And you can even find natural air fresheners that are made with essential oils and other plant-based ingredients.
I love those ideas. They sound so much healthier and more inviting than those artificial scents. What about furniture and carpets? I've heard that those can release toxins into the air too. Is that something we should be concerned about?
It is. A lot of furniture and carpets are treated with flame retardants, and those can actually be harmful to our health. They can leach into the air and dust and, eventually makes their way into our bodies.
So what should we look for when we're shopping for furniture and carpets? What are some safer options?
Look for pieces that are made with natural materials like wood, wool, or cotton. And if you can find them, choose things that are labeled as flame retardant free or compliant with TB 117/2013. Those labels mean that they meet certain safety standards.
Okay, I'm going to keep that in mind next time I'm shopping for furniture. What about paint? Some paints can release harmful fumes too, right? Especially when they're fresh.
You're right. A lot of those conventional paints are full of VOCs, which can irritate your lungs and cause other issues. And those fumes can linger in the air long after the paint dries, so it's really important to choose low VOC or zero VOC paints whenever possible. Much healthier for you and for the environment.
Makes sense. It's amazing how many things in our homes can potentially impact our health. I have to say, it can feel a little overwhelming to think about all of this.
I get it. It can definitely be a lot to take in. But just remember, you don't have to make all these changes overnight. Start with one or two things, and then build from there as you feel comfortable.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly. Every little bit counts.
Well, this has been an incredibly informative deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today, expert speaker. I know our listeners are feeling inspired and empowered to create healthier homes and make choices that support their well-being.
It's been my pleasure. It's all about raising awareness and giving people the knowledge they need to protect their health.
And for our listeners, we encourage you to keep exploring this topic. We have a ton of great resources in our show notes to help you make those healthier, more informed choices.
We're all on this journey together. Even small changes can make a big difference, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
So until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay healthy.
And keep diving deep.